Swallowed star. Floating in the depths of the absolute beginning region, the majestic demon mountain had the one particular inheritance palace that had levels of stairs that extended into space, up to the 333th level. On the 1916th level, Luo Feng, who was dressed in silver armor, was like a statue sitting with his eyes closed on the stairs. His soul, however, was constantly evolving, countless engravings permeating his soul. Suddenly the statue stood up and his eyes opened, a glint in his eyes. Today is the day of the qualification battles. I'll have to slow down on the inheritance. He looked down at his feet. Beside them was an ancient peculiar stone board, the Luo Fu Lu board. Meld. With a thought, the board swiftly shrank and melded with his feet. His 2 years of training had finally successfully left his spirit imprint on the board. The board could change its size accordingly, it could take any form and meld with his skin or muscles, even his bones, etc. Luo Feng sent out 90% of his consciousness and swiftly entered the virtual universe. He left 10% to continue receiving the inheritance. The speed of his training would decrease greatly. It normally took a day for one level before. Right now it would probably take 10 days for one level. Your Majesty. Your Majesty. In the virtual universe absolute beginning region, the universe levels, domain lords and sector lord guards including the staff all bowed respectfully. Luo Feng nodded and flew into the sky heading towards Wuka's villa. Wuka's villa had become Luo Feng's, Jiang Yemo, Qian Shui, Rong Jun, Lancelot, Eo Pat Te La, Ai Chen and Wuka's gathering spot. Gazing from above, he saw that there were already 7 people gathered there. Luo Feng. Hurry over. The tables and chairs in the villa were already filled and the people there all looked up and shouted, obviously spotting Luo Feng. I'm here. He smiled. So. He rushed over and instantly closed 10 kilometers and landed on the grass, walking towards the table and sitting in an empty seat. Luo Feng, today is the beginning of the qualification battles. We'll probably be gathered in a while, and yet you still took your time to get over. Look, everybody else is here. Only you, the slowest. Are we not good enough for you? Wuka lifted a 1 long piece of barbecued meat and ate. While speaking, Luo Feng didn't know what kind of meat that was. Eat finish before speaking. Luo Feng sat and lifted the wine before him, opening the cork and drinking, immediately feeling refreshed. Right. That group of seniors have all passed the Heavenly Bridge's 6th level, our hopes aren't too good. The group of geniuses from all different races all chatted. You all. Luo Feng put down his wine and forced a smile. Hence the latest person here is because he's the most relaxed. Rong Jun chimed in and said. You too. Luo Feng shook his head. The competition within the absolute beginning region, he was 100% sure he wouldn't be eliminated. However, different strengths meant they had different targets. Wuka, Jiang Mo and Qian Shui with the others were worried about being kicked into the sky and land region. Luo Feng's aim, however, was to make it into the primal region, and making it there was extremely hard. Even with his current strength, he didn't have too much guarantee. Luo Feng. Wuka looked at him. Luo Feng. Jiang Mo looked over too. Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Rong Jun, Lancelot, the rest all put down their food and drinks and looked over, 7 of them looking at him. Luo Feng was stunned. Madman. Wuka emphasized, you should know the situation of us newbies, as we just joined the virtual universe company. Hence the difference between our strengths and the seniors is pretty huge, even compared to the seniors of the sky and land region's top fighters. Amongst the 300 seniors, we are still much weaker. Among us 8, Rong Jun may be able to fight to stay in the absolute beginning region. However, no matter how he fights, he would still be amongst the bottom here. The rest of us don't even have a hint of hope. The group was silent. Right. No hope at all. Among the 8 of us, Luo Feng. Rong Jun said solemnly. He stared at him. Only you can rush to the top. The 8 of them. 6 didn't have a hint of hope. Rong Jun too only had some chance to remain, but he'd have to give it his all. Luo Feng looked at the group of geniuses. They were all proud, however they all didn't have a glimmer of hope, only unwillingly accepting the outcome. However suppressed and angry they were within, they could only send their hopes with their fellow newbie Luo Feng. Relax. Luo Feng nodded. After about half an hour, a rumbling sound could be heard within the region. The absolute beginning universe-level qualification battles are about to begin. All gather. Look, that's Luo Fu. The strongest amongst the 30 seniors. Chemist Yu Feng. The group of geniuses in mid-air all observed their opponents, because they would all soon clash. Luo Feng too was observing 5 people. The 5 strongest of the absolute beginning seniors, from weakest, Sa Jin Fire Dragon, Gu, Ni Nan and the 2 strongest Chemist Yu Feng and Wolfman Luo Fu. Sa Jin waved his tail, his eyes burning as he stared at Luo Feng, filled with fighting spirit. He communicated, Luo Feng, I lost last time but this time I will win. He lost in terms of willpower before, he couldn't withstand Luo Feng's consciousness pressure. The moment he could withstand it, then his black hole evolution could truly be unleashed. Luo Feng of back then would definitely not been able to fight back, after all Sa Jin had passed the 7th level of the Heavenly Bridge much earlier. I won last time, I'll win again. Luo Feng looked back and replied. Gu. Luo Feng looked at the other man. Gu was a battle-crazy person. Even though he was the latest to pass the 7th level amongst the 5, he was more like Rong Jun. His battle talents were extremely high, similar comprehension levels, but the strength he could unleash was incredibly powerful. Gu glanced at Luo Feng and a glint flashed through his droopy eyes, after which he returned to his original dejected state. Ni Nan. Luo Feng glanced at the silver-armored youth. That youth was smiling. He was the easiest to get close to amongst the 5. When Luo Feng looked over, he too smiled back. Yu Feng. Chemist Yu Feng. He was the most peculiar of the 5, he was completely draped in a black robe and one could only barely see his eyes. Luo Fu. Luo Feng looked at the strongest of the 5. Luo Fu. Dressed in grey armor with yellow fur on his face, his brown eyes gleamed with green light, his fangs poked through the corners of his mouth, he made Luo Feng feel as though he was almost like a wolf. The wolfman seemed to notice Luo Feng looking over and he turned, suddenly smiling. Rumble. Almost like a huge beast staring over, Luo Feng couldn't help but feel his hairs stand. Ha! Luo Fu chuckled lightly, interesting punk. The wolf-man's words immediately made the rest of the seniors look over, everyone including Chemist Yu Feng all looked, while looking, they couldn't help but feel nervous. Luo Feng too stared back at the wolf-man, even though he had met the primal region's Mo Luo before, his subconscious still felt. The absolute beginning region's strongest Luo Fu was more terrifying than the primal region's Mo Luo. The 5 of the seniors and the strongest newbie Luo Feng. 6. All passed the Heavenly Bridge's 7th level. The qualification battles are very simple. U38 will battle the other 37 each 1v1. The winner will get 1 point. The loser in draws will get 0. The top 3 will be picked according to the scores and they will have the right to challenge the slots in the primal region. The purple-armored skinny man said with a hoarse voice, even his lips were purple. The primal region has a total of 5 people, they will have their own qualification battle. Their bottom 3 will fight our absolute beginning strongest 3. A total of 6 will vie for that one slot of the primal region. Luo Feng, Luo Fu, Sa Jin, Chemist Yu Feng, Ni Nan, Gu, Isx's eyes gleamed. 3 of our absolute beginning against 3 of their primal region members, only one victor. Luo Feng's gaze swept past the 5 of them, along with 3 from the primal region. I must defeat all of them. Only through that will I become a primal region member. There was one messy yellow-haired decadent-looking man with 4 ears and droopy eyes. He gazed at the other 5, Sa Jin, Ni Nan and Luo Feng aren't too much of a threat. My true opponents are Yu Feng and Luo Fu. In the previous qualification battles, my move wasn't perfect, hence I didn't unleash it. This time, I will shock everybody. And rush into the primal region. Gu was filled with ambition, and his improvement speed was indeed shocking. Defeating the other 4 will be simple, only that wolf. Yu Feng, who was draped in a black robe, looked at Luo Fu. The medicine I specially made for him this time. As long as it works, I have a guarantee of making it into the primal region. Wolf-man Luo Fu floated silently in space. I'm currently in an impossible mission. I have to keep alert with part of my consciousness. The other part to participate here. Under normal circumstances, I can only use about 70% of my power. 70% is enough. The group all had their own thoughts. And the purple-uniformed skinny man who represented the Virtual Universe Company continued, the absolute beginning's last 18 will battle with the top 10 of the sky and land region. These 28 will battle for the 8 slots in the absolute beginning region. The losers will be kicked into the sky and land region. Luo Feng was shocked within. The chances of getting kicked out was simply too high. However, it was right. The primal region normally has 3 slots for universe level. The absolute beginning should have 30 universe levels. Any excess would naturally be kicked out. As long as they weren't strong enough, they would be kicked. Rong Jun may be in trouble this time. He looked at Rong Jun beside. Rong Jun, however, was smiling, filled with confidence. The qualification battles are just about to begin. The skinny man looked at the group of youths. The battles will take place in special locations. At that time, the virtual universe system will automatically send you over. Also, you can watch other battles through the screens. Get ready. He vanished right after he finished. Qualification battles. It's begun. Luo Feng, the absolute beginning qualification battles. Your first match is about to begin. Your opponent is Mashka. The sound he had in his ears had this content. Simultaneously, an arm bracelet screen appeared on his wrist. On it the battle details displayed. So, Luo Feng was already transported to the location where he would face the senior Mashka. 38 people, 19 battles began simultaneously. Yuxiang Mountain Primal Region. Every primal region member's villa was 1,000 kilometers in area, larger than any territory on Earth. Mo Luo was dressed in long pants, standing in his vast grass field and practicing his attacks. Your Majesty is too crazy. He trains non-stop. Most of his training time is spent on his fist work. The beast fist's wonders don't pale in comparison to some undying's techniques. The group of sector lord guards all discussed in hushed voices from a distance. Large amount of staff too were filled with respect and shock. They worshipped this Mo Luo. Mo Luo knew how to win people's hearts. At least amongst the over 10k personnel in his villa, they all respected and worshipped him. Howl. He roared almost like a wild dog, instantly becoming a beam of light and rushing 10 kilometers ahead, 2 claws tearing fiercely ahead, causing huge tears in the grass that stretched over 100 kilometers, almost like 2 canyons. D. Received mail. The absolute beginning qualification battles have begun. A voice resounded. Only then did Mo Luo stop. From the last phase region to sky and land region, from there to the absolute beginning and finally to the primal region. This way. He rose from an orphan beggar to the top, becoming a pinnacle genius of the universe. Even an undying is only my guard. Mo Luo gazed at the distant sector lord guards and the leading undying, he smiled and nodded, inside however he roared, "Why, it's because I fight for it. Using any means, as long as I win, that is the best way for success. The way for an absolute warrior to survive. It ain't living if it ain't crazy enough." Mo Luo lifted his finger and tapped gently. Chi. A screen floated there. "Watch Luo Feng's battle." Mo Luo ordered. Primal region, absolute beginning region, sky and land region, last phase region, the battles all took place at different times. As the lesser the number of people the less time and other preparation it took. Hence the last phase region with the most number of members, just the members alone was about 10,000. The sky and land had over 300. Absolute beginning had over 30. Primal region only had 5. Hence, naturally the last phase had the most details to prepare and was the earliest to begin. And the primal region with only 5 members would be the last. The broadcast of the battles were open to any core member. Naturally the undyings with high authority could all watch too. I don't believe that Luo Feng is still alive. Mo Luo stared at the screen. I personally kicked him down into that terrifying abyss. According to the data I've collected, anyone who falls into the abyss won't be able to survive. Luo Feng simply relied on only searching, his information definitely couldn't compare to Mo Luo's. He's definitely dead. There's actually a rumor in the absolute beginning region that he's alive. Mo Luo's eyes were cold, as Luo Feng had sent out that mail to his friends and gone to visit Wuka and the others. However, as he was still receiving the inheritance, his time was critical, hence he only showed himself for a brief moment before returning to the palace. And only Wuka, Rong Jun and the others had seen him. The other seniors, those that attended the classes hadn't seen him since then, hence the news of him being alive wasn't confirmed publicly. Of course. The gathering for the battles earlier, was considered Luo Feng's first public appearance. However, this gathering, Mo Luo didn't personally witness. If he's alive, then I'll be able to watch the broadcast. If he's dead, there wouldn't be his battle at all, naturally I won't be able to see it. Mo Luo stared at the screen. Rumors are just rumors. I kicked him into the abyss personally, I can definitely confirm his death. A prompt appeared on the screen. D. Luo Feng's battle with Mashka is currently going on, connecting to broadcast. The information in the prompt was very clear. Mo Luo was stunned. He stared at the prompt for a while before frowning, saying softly, "He's not dead. He's actually not dead. How can he be alive after falling into that abyss?" Rumble. The terrifying magnetic field made him uncomfortable. What place is this? Luo Feng was shocked. He looked down at the screen on his wrist. On it the detailed information was already translated into Earth language. Battle, absolute beginning death qualification battles, universe level. Opponents, Luo Feng, 0 wins 0 loss, against Mashka, 0 wins 0 loss. Location, White Dwarf Star, diameter 3,200 kilometers, surface gravity 361,000,000 G, temperature 21,000 degrees Celsius. White Dwarf Star. Luo Feng smiled, no wonder the gravity is so shocking. White Dwarf Star was a forbidden region to the weaker humans. Universe Level 9. A Universe Level 9 was already enough to rule a galaxy. Some low-level civilization strongest was probably at most only a Universe Level 9. 300 million times the gravity of Earth, over 20k degrees in temperature, white dwarf star's terrifying magnetic field was indeed nothing much to a universe level 9. Of course. If it were neutron star, a universe level 9 would instantly crumble. However, white dwarf star was something they could easily withstand. Rumble. 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 The land shook. Luo Feng looked over. There a silhouette was running fast, every step shaking the ground, causing the solid surface to crack with every stomp. In an instant he stopped before Luo Feng. He stared at him filled with fighting spirit. This person was about 2.2 m, skinny, bald, without a single hair on his body. He stared hard at Luo Feng without blinking, as if he was looking at a huge enemy. His voice was shrill as it resounded, "You are Luo Feng." Moshka had purple eyes, a high nose bridge, no eyebrows, his lips were very thin and his gaze was like a venomous snake, cold. Moshka. Luo Feng raised both hands above his chest. Other than his head, the rest of his body was covered in armor. Stop wasting time. Crazy. Moshka was riled by Luo Feng's words until his face was flushed red. In a flash, he brandished his blade and with a clang, he was ready. Newbie, I'll let you know, that even the normal seniors aren't something you can look down on. Moshka roared and with a fierce stomp, the incredibly solid ground was smashed into pieces. His mini-galaxy within his body fiercely exploded, causing him to rush over in a terrifying speed even on this white dwarf star that had 300 million times the gravity of Earth. A streamlined spirit weapon appeared below Luo Feng's feet, dark cloud shuttle. Standing on it and floating in mid-air, he gazed at the raging Moshka rushing over. Humph. The instant Moshka drew close to Luo Feng, he instantly stomped hard on the ground, using the force to fly up and rush towards him, his right arm wielding the blade. Die! Moshka's purple eyes gleamed. As he got close, he swung his blade. Rumble. In the instant he waved his blade, it was almost like a volcano erupting, tearing forward with terrifying destroying intent towards Luo Feng. And as it slashed, the surrounding temperature soared to a shocking level. The flash of the blade slashed past Luo Feng's body, the slash followed forward onto the ground ahead. Chi. Moshka, who was floating in mid-air after slashing, looked, his expression changed. Your blade work is not bad, however it's a pity your speed is too slow. A voice resounded. Moshka turned quickly. In the distance, Luo Feng stood on his dark cloud shuttle and looked calmly at Moshka. Controlling a spirit weapon was greatly linked to one's spirit energy strength. Similarly, in terms of law comprehension, a universe level and a domain lord level, their speed using the spirit weapon definitely had a huge difference. Even though Luo Feng only used 90% of his consciousness to enter the virtual universe, his spirit energy amplitude was after all over 1,900, much more than the 70 to 80 from before the Inheritance Palace. It had risen over 20 times. Even at 90%, it was still over 20 times. This made his usage of the Dark Cloud Shuttle, under extreme circumstances, much better than before. Your blade work is not bad, seeing that move of yours has made this worth it. Luo Feng stood on the Dark Cloud Shuttle and said, simultaneously the dark golden long rod on his back shot out countless gold lights, they swiftly gathered and finally formed an ancient long blade. It floated in mid-air, causing the space about to shake. Nanshan Armaments 5th level, Space Slicer. Use the 6th level. On the distant ground, Moshka roared with rage, Luo Feng, are you shaming me? The group of seniors all knew Luo Feng could already use the 6th level, Blade World. The 5th is enough. Luo Feng said in mid-air. Xiao. The dark golden blade was simply too fast, and with the space being pressured, it made the strength of Moshka's blade diminish further. Qi. The dark golden blade was incredibly piercing, piercing straight through Mashka's armor through his body. Explode! Luo Feng muttered softly in the distance. The dark golden blade that pierced into Mashka's body automatically dispersed within, becoming countless little golden blades that decimated his body. With a rumble, countless blades shot out of his body. The genetic armor that was Mashka's energy had a great loss in defensive ability. Qi. 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 Mashka's body fell heavily on the ground. Similar space slicer, different people unleashing it will have different power. Luo Feng landed beside Masha's body and looked at the shredded body, his eyes clam. He said quietly, "The current me is much stronger than before, this space slicer is much stronger than before too." He looked at his wrist screen, on it his name had the words, 1 win 0 loss, points 1. As time passed, many battles went on. The internal qualification battles of the virtual universe was actually a distribution of resources for the company. Everybody wished to make it into the primal region, because the resources a primal region was given was very shocking. Just the universe level, these members had undying teachers, that taught according to how they wanted. If they wished, they could change their teachers anytime. The teachers were normally official level 2. And they could take more missions too. Luo Feng was very clear, every training mission had a secret hidden within them. Like Blood River World's Beast God's Secret or Demon Mountain's Inheritance Palace. During the Domain Lord level, Primal Region members would get even higher authority and status. Extremely high position meant shocking authority. It allowed them to have great power from the Virtual Universe Company, with many benefits. During Sector Lord level, the benefits get even more shocking. The cost the Virtual Universe Company puts into nurturing every Sector Lord was comparable even to an Emperor level undying. Universe level, Domain Lord, Sector Lord. The further back, the more the resources the Virtual Universe Company would pour into the genius. Long lifespan. With 1008 universe countries in the universe and the Virtual Universe Company absorbing from all of them, why are there only a total of 100 sector lords in the primal region? Expensive. Even the Virtual Universe Company couldn't madly go nurture everybody. Hence. 1 was for glory and honor. 2 was because as one traveled further down the road, everybody would wish to enter the primal region. The benefits in the primal region would constantly increase. Luo Feng sat in his study within the absolute beginning villa. A screen floated before him, on it broadcasted the chemist Yu Feng's battle, universe level. The status and resources of the primal region members in universe level is already plenty. Domain Lord level primal region members would become governors of territories. I heard that when these members go out as governors, they have shocking amounts of authority. That means wealth. Opportunities. Power. Sector Lord primal region members' benefits are even more shocking. Luo Feng muttered to himself. The greater the resources, the higher the difficulty. A sector lord entering the primal region was hundreds to thousands of times harder than in universe level. Hence, I have to lead from the beginning. With a head start, I'll lead all the way. Luo Feng looked at the screen, the Battle of Yu Feng. He couldn't help but frown. This Yu Feng is actually a spirit reader, chemist. Those opponents have no resistance against him at all. On the screen, the fighter wielded 2 axes. He wanted to wave them to battle but he lost control of his muscles as they twitched. If a fighter was unleashing his move and his muscles twitched, naturally there was no way to fully unleash it. Qi. His head was cut off. The chemist belongs to a very specialized path, and a very hard setup to actually make progress in. Luo Feng searched on information about chemists, looking at Yu Feng's every battle. Ha! Ko Luo Fu roared, his expression struggled, he immediately flew through the skies, his right hand lifted high like a claw, fiercely slashing down. Tearing through. Rumble. The golden claw seemed to land heading towards the developed city. It was instantly torn right through, leaving behind a huge canyon. The entire continent seemed to have been sliced, leaving behind deep canyons. Looking at this battle, Luo Feng's expression was heavy. This was the first battle between two of the top 6, including Luo Feng. He had seen Luo Fu's battles before. He had won instantly without showing his true strength. And this time, he actually used one of his moves. Yet it was so powerful and intrepid. A claw that tore through space. Tearing through Sa Jin, through the continent. This one claw, in terms of law comprehension, it exceeds my gold and space comprehension. His expression was heavy, even compared to my golden horned beast's tearing sky claw. It may be much weaker. But its law comprehension has already exceeded mine, and the usage was perfect. The energy was condensed, it tore through the continent without creating a huge explosion. Powerful.